Okay, so I believe we're live here, sort of live. Anyway, this is for academic challenge. I thought maybe I would make some videos solving some of these problems. We don't always have time, either you or me, to get together and work. And so this is the 2021 math exam for academic challenge, and I just thought maybe I would do several of the problems to make some videos. So it says, number one, a toy bank holds 80 coins consisting of nickels, dimes, and quarters, twice as many quarters and nickels. The total value is $13. How many quarters are in this collection? Now, remember, this is a time test, and so you want to try to do this in a reasonable amount of time and be efficient. And so I'm guessing that many of you can come up with these equations. So there's 80 total coins, so the number of dimes and nickels and quarters is 80. And then 5 times the number of nickels plus 10 times the number of dimes plus 25 times the number of quarters is $13. You can see those equations. And then it says there are twice as many quarters as nickels, so let's think about that. So that means that if we took 2 times the number of nickels, we would have the number of quarters. And so let's write that over here this way, 2n minus q equals 0. Now, you know, we can, I know all of you know how to solve systems of 3 equations, but, you know, again, it's a time test, right? And so if you go and get on your calculator and hit second matrix, let me just give you a fast way to do this. You hit second and then the matrix key. You see, you hit edit and you hit enter, and you can see that it's 3 by 3, 3 by 3, and if you wanted to change it, you could, obviously. I've put in these numbers, you know, 1, 1, 1, 5, 10, 25. You can see that you could pretty easily type them in. 2, 0, negative 1. And then go to a matrix B, so it's second matrix and edit matrix B. And it's a 3 by 1, and you want to put the numbers 80, 1300, and 0. Then you just need to you get out of that screen, you hit second matrix and choose A, and then inverse, second matrix, and then B, and hit enter. And so that tells you that there are 20 nickels, 20 dimes, and 40 quarters. And so your answer is 40 quarters. All right, so that's pretty fast. Again, you could have done it faster or less fast if you just, you know, solve the actual system. But we're trying to, you know, not only learn how to do this, but to do it quickly. And then number 2 says an event has 12 teams, the top 3 of whom will win a different trophy. How many ways can the trophies be awarded? Okay, well, that's a counting problem where repetition is not allowed, and for that matter, order matters. And so you should know that that's a permutation problem. So I'll hit math. We'll go over to probability. I'll choose NPR, and it's we're choosing 3 from 12. So it's whoops. So we're choosing 12. It's 12p3, and so our answer is 1,320. Question 3 says that 2 cars are 240 miles apart, and they begin driving toward each other on a long straight highway. One car travels 50 miles an hour and the other 70. At the same time, a falcon starting on one car flies back and forth between the 2 cars as they approach each other. If the falcon flies at 80 miles an hour and turns around instantly at each car, how far has the falcon flown? And so you might accidentally think that you've got to, you know, think about the falcon going back and forth and back and forth. And in fact, you don't. You just say to yourself, well, geez, they're 240 miles apart, and one's traveling 50 and one's traveling 70, and so they are traveling, you know, at 120 miles an hour total. And so 120 miles an hour for 2 hours is 240 miles. And so it takes 2 hours for them to meet. And so, like, then you say, well, geez, the falcon is going 80 miles an hour the whole time. So 80 miles an hour for 2 hours is 160 miles. And then you can move on to the next problem. Number 4 says, if the two roots of a quadratic function with real coefficients are 3 minus I and 3 plus I, what's the constant term of the expanded and simplified quadratic function? Well, anytime you have a root of something, you can say that x minus that is equal to 0. And in this case, there's two roots. So x minus one of them and x minus the other must equal 0. And so you might be tempted to multiply that out. That's true. However, just make this look like an I. I could put any number I wanted in front of this. And so because I can put any number I want in front of this, I'll end up with any constant I want. Okay? And so the answer is actually E, insufficient information. You might be fooled into thinking it's 10. If you did multiply this out, and now I'll leave you to double check this, but you would get x squared plus 6x plus 10. The i's would cancel. It would be minus x times 3 minus I, and then minus x times 3 plus I. And so you'd get the i's to cancel. And then this here, when you multiplied the last, so if you FOILed it, that would be 9 minus 8i squared, and so that's 10. Okay? But again, since a could be anything, they didn't tell you that the quadratic function was, reduced to lowest terms or anything like that. And so the answer is 4, insufficient information. And then number 5, it says, when painting a room, Tom takes 10 seconds to paint a square foot using a brush, and Bill takes 2 seconds per square foot. The two of them are painting 600 square feet. And then furthermore, Bill joins in 10 minutes after Tom. And so, Tom can paint at 1 square foot per 10 seconds. And then we'd like to know how long it takes him. And so we'll just say, times X seconds. And we're going to add that to Bill. And Bill is painting at 1 square foot per 2 seconds. And how long is he painting? Maybe I'll change this X to something else. T. And then he's going, he's going 10 minutes shorter than Bill. And so instead of T seconds, I'm going to put that he is at T minus, so 10 minutes, 60 seconds. That's 600 seconds. Now, and so this is, if you notice, I wrote down the units here, square foot per second times seconds, that's square foot. And in both cases, and so this is 600. And so if you wanted to make this maybe a little bit simpler equation to look at, it's 1/10 times T plus 1/2 times T minus 600 equals 600, okay? So this is the number of square feet here that I'm pointing at, that Tom paints, and then the number of square feet that Bill paints. And so now it's just a matter of solving the equation. So this is 1/10 T plus 1/2 T minus 300 equals 600. 1/10 and 1/2, okay, 1/10 and 5/10 is 6/10. So this is 3/5 T. If I add the 300 to the other side, and then I solve, we're getting out of the screen here, aren't we? Now if I'm going to solve, I get 3/5 T equals 900. So T is 900 times 5/3, which is 1,500. And then 1,500 seconds, okay, 1,500 seconds is however many minutes. So it's 150 divided by 6, that's 25 minutes, okay? And so the answer is 8:25 a.m. All right, so I hope this helped. Again, we'll try to make as many of these we can, and I hope that you get something out of them. Thank you.